Let's be clear about that, and that is that a low exposure of radiation for an X-ray, you know, that a doctor has said, well, that's worth the risk because the potential of what's behind there, if we don't find it, is worse. But just a indiscriminate leak of radioactive material, I don't see the benefit. If anybody is exposed to that tritium leak, I don't see the benefit at all.
No, nor do we.
Okay. Okay. I want, but let's be clear about that.
Absolutely.
That's why I get
only
very angry when I read in the paper that oh, but this is way below the acceptable. None of that is acceptable, I believe, and I hope that's your.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No. This is an unacceptable situation.
Thank you. Sorry, Tim. You done?
Done.
Okay. I have Betty, Margaret, Kurt, and Mark.
I'm worried about the bedrock. I know that. I'm not talking about the bedrock that's all little stones or big stones or boulders. I'm talking about solid bedrock. This stuff, you get down on that bedrock and just flow very fast on top of the bedrock underneath the dirt, faster than going through dirt. And could there be some of this going down on that bedrock and speeding off, to another place way past the school or way past the town of Brattleboro or somewhere and then come up?
Yeah, my understanding of it, again, I'm not a hydrogeologist, but is that the river creates a kind of hydraulic force that draws groundwater from the higher elevation actually deep into the river rather than just kind of letting it trickle out at the bank of the river there. And so those kinds of flow descriptions that you described have been described to me by others that are affiliated with this project and have very good hydrogeology background. And indeed, it's another reason why, despite the fact that the groundwater flow appears to be directly from the west of the plant under and beside the plant structures to the river on the east, that we monitor not only on-site wells, but off-site wells that are north, west, and south of the station.
And those wells go down to bedrock? Do you test the water that's running along the bedrock?
The wells that we're testing off-site, as well as drinking water wells that we're testing on-site, are beneath the bedrock. They are actually wells that people drink. For example, the Vernon Elementary School, the farms that are there, and some local residents.
Margaret?
So, you, of course, are saying that it's essential that we find the leak as fast as possible. Do you have any sense whether we're any closer to finding the leak than we were to begin with, or are we still going around in circles?
No, I do hope that this finding has narrowed down. When I was down there yesterday looking at everything, there's actually a map of the site and the wells that are coming up positive and negative, and it to some degree forms a triangle that limits numerous areas and focuses the attention on a smaller area. But that is a very complex area, and it's going to take some time to investigate, not only until they find a source or even a couple of sources, but all of the potential sources. They know that it's very important to us that they don't stop when they find one source or two sources, and they're committed to investigating not only all of the potential sources, but to do so repeatedly over time, because some of these systems may only operate intermittently, and it's important to test them through over the course of time to verify that they're not. If there is a leak, it certainly could be indicative that there are other places that are leaking.
And I know you're not a geohydrologist, but
Speak up.
you're not. I know you're not a geohydrologist, but do you have any sense whether freezing temperatures makes any difference in either the flow, the rate of the dispersion of the tritium? I know at lower levels it wouldn't freeze, but is that an issue that will change as spring approaches? Hopefully it will be done by spring, but.
Right. Actually, weather is a very important phenomenon, and it goes to both the behavior of the water in the natural environment and the sources on site there. For example, there are a number of sources that may only be a source in the winter when it's very cold outside and there is hot air or hot water passing through it and creating condensation on the inside of that pipe. And in some cases it can be the reverse, that in the summertime, because of the high humidity that might exist in buildings, that could create greater concentrations or greater volumes of water in some of the source systems. So we've actually begun to, along with the plant, try to plot weather conditions with the well results to help us to understand a little bit of this ourselves.
Kurt? Thanks. Mr. Irwin, Sarah was asking you, and you said that you had indicated to Entergy that you thought they needed to do daily testing.
Yes.
And did they indicate to you that they would be doing daily testing?
They did not say so, but I believe they said it was a very good idea. Know better when I next talk to them, which I actually hope to do in about 11 minutes. I have a regular scheduled meeting.
And then you'll get confirmation as to whether they're following your
I can do that,
advice.
yes.
And you're also doing testing?
Yes, we are.
And are you doing daily testing?
We're doing weekly testing, and what we think of our testing is that it provides, through this process, means to validate their numbers. If we are able to test once a week, we are able to therefore, if our numbers are similar to theirs, say that their daily tests are reasonable to rely upon. If we need to test more, we will. But at this point in time, we tend to look at this as a marathon, and that we need to make sure that we're testing many places, and that we're doing each of those repeatedly. And that we believe right now the weekly testing, along with validation of their results through our testing, we give a very large frequency of testing overall.
When the leak or leaks is found, what happens?
Well, the repair should commence immediately. In fact, I've been in meetings there where they have actually, when they thought that they were getting close to identifying a specific system or source, to begin the process of creating work orders to repair. For example, there was what was called the radiologist trench identified about 10, 12 days ago, where high concentration of tritium was found in water standing in this concrete pipe tunnel. That they began the process of what would be required to fix what was going on there, to fix the trench so that it didn't leak. And I would expect the same thing is happening now as they start to focus in on other systems, and that they would promptly take whatever necessary steps there are to make that repair.
How long a process is it generally once the leaks are found to stop repair?
Well, it all depends on where it is and how it can be stopped. For example, there may be systems where you can turn a valve to stop something, but in general, I think that most of the places that leak and can be controlled in that manner have been tested. Because anytime there's a valve at one end or the other of a system, you can actually test whether the system is holding water. So I think that some of these repairs may be more complicated. And when you're talking about a nuclear power plant where there are high radiation sources, there are electrical services, there are high temperature steam sources, all of these things require deliberate, methodical approach to making repairs. But I think that in general they would be able to make repairs in a matter of hours in some cases, and no more than days in almost other cases.